And howdy. Welcome back to the Greenup County News, Greenup County Video News Magazine. I can't edit it. That's why I do it live. And then I try to trip you up, Horn. That's what I try to do. We're reinstituting the magazine. I've had a few health issues, and Sean has dumped me every time that I needed to come and see him. So we're going to start it back up, and it'll be on each Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And we're going to have this one with Mr. Horn, and we'll have one more before school is out, because we want to talk about graduation when we get close. But today it's Sean Horn, Superintendent of Russell Independent Schools, and we'll be back, not Russell County, I want to point that out. It's Russell Independent Schools. And I'll be back with Sean in a couple minutes, and we'll get things started on the OLBH Greenup Beacon Media Network.
Stultz Pharmacy is now offering patients compounding for their prescription needs. Stultz Pharmacy is the only pharmacy in the area PCCA certified. We can provide you with hormone replacement, neuropathy creams, scar creams, pediatric prescriptions, and we can even help you with your veterinarian needs. If you have any questions, please call 606-834-1052. That's 834-1052. Stultz Pharmacy in Greenup, Flatwoods, and Wheelersburg. More than you expect from a pharmacy.
Stultz Pharmacy.
At Carmen Funeral Home for more than 100 years, the original mission of the firm hasn't changed. They've always intended to provide the best and most professional services, complemented by the finest products. Carmen Funeral Home, people serving people since 1913, from pre-need to final arrangements. Carmen Funeral Home.
Are you an adult looking for a new career? A high school senior ready for a new and exciting journey? No matter your education goals, we have a path to get you there. We have lots of programs to help you get a high-paying job quickly or work toward a bachelor's degree. Take advantage of the state's lowest tuition, outstanding training programs for jobs in your area, and online classes. Enroll now. Ashland Community and Technical College. Higher education begins here.
The reason why I love the chiropractor is when I first come in, I go get on a rolling chair. It has little rollers and you lay down and it does them in your sore spots, upper and lower back. And when I get and there's sticky things that they put on your back. They feel so good because you feel a little tingle and it feels good. And after your first time, it's your best friend. The thing I love about being at Dr. Whitaker's office when he pops me and cracks me is when after he pops me in my sore spots and it feels great.
We had to talk about things off the mic. Now we're back on. Sean, we haven't been on this school year, so let's talk about from the beginning of school up to now. We've had 3 days off for the flu. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that, NTI days, your test scores. Mm-hmm. You can just sort of just roll on. But one thing I want you to emphasize is how quality the district's ACT scores were at the end of your discussion.
Okay. Well, we'll start with the most recent with the flu. Some of the surrounding districts here in the last little bit, they've been kind of going back and forth with some sickness, and it really had not hit us yet. And last week we attended school on Monday and Tuesday, and we had on Monday about 5 classes that was below 90%. Tuesday we had 6 classes that was below 90%.
When you say classes, you mean like 6th grade, 4th
correct,
grade?
Yeah, an entire grade.
Okay.
And so six of our 13 was below 90%. You know, we usually run on a bad day 94.5. Most of the time we're above 96. I mean, the last 3 years we've averaged over 96% attendance, which is outstanding. I mean, and that ties to dollars, but we really thought that because of such a mild winter, and we still have some time that we could play within our calendar to keep us, our goal was to be out of school before Memorial Day. And we decided to do 2 days last week, Wednesday and Thursday, just like a snow day, out and no staff.
Which you had it built in.
Yeah, and we had that built in so that, kids could be gone, staff could be gone, because that was another major issue. Not only were the kids sick, we had a lot of bus drivers sick, cooks sick, teachers sick. And I think the last day we were 6 positions short of substitutes. So that made it a pretty easy decision on my part, just to try to get everybody away from the school and get the place clean, which we did that. Friday we decided to do an NTID day, which this is our 3rd year with NTID, which is a non-traditional instructional day, which makes it really convenient for us. I have found in the past we don't want to string a lot of those together back-to-back days because
you kill them.
Because the amount of work, but it does allow us to have some instruction going on. I found it's better in small increments, and that was treated just like we were in a day in school. So right now, unofficially, we're still before that Memorial Day timeline with graduation, ending of school, and all that. So we hope to, if the weather cooperates with us, we should be good to go. And our attendance numbers, we've bounced back. The last couple of days have been kind of back to normal, so feel really good about that.
If we don't have snow, Sean, or some other water line, or what do you project as graduation?
The Thursday before Memorial Day, right now, what we're looking at probably the last day for kids. The Friday before Memorial Day, we're looking at last day for staff. And then, last year we did our graduation on a Sunday. I could see a weekend, a Saturday, Sunday type graduation, and that way we can be done. Start preparing. That very next day we've got a couple little projects that we want to get done, and
and that also allows those that travel to if it's on Memorial Day weekend. It allows those to travel.
And that worked really good for us last year because some of the feedback that I was given from some of the families, you do a Friday graduation, it really makes it difficult for families that are coming in. So we really want to take that in consideration, and I thought that our graduation last year was well attended, and I received a lot of positive feedback from that. So we're going to kind of go with that theme. That's worked pretty good for us.
Okay, now test scores.
Test scores.
You need to explain what happened.
We, to be honest with you, and I'll try to make this as simple as possible. The test scores in general, the K-Prep, that's the test that everyone is assessed on across the state, 3rd grade through 12th grade. Our test scores in and of themselves really didn't change that much. We were kind of streamlined across the board as far as up or down. But what really got us is the state kind of reshuffled how the test was being scored. And and I'm sure you've heard of this, but some of the folks out there might not have. But there's a certain thing called a gap group, where you'd have students with disabilities, free and reduced lunch, ethnicity if you qualify for that. There's a lot of different categories as far as a gap group, and it's a very small percentage of your population, but that's a part of the assessment. In that particular area, with the kids that fall in that category, we did not perform as well as what we wanted. And I hate to use the word penalized, but overall we were kind of penalized for that, and that's not a really clear picture as to the entire population. So essentially, if you were wanting to compare the previous year to this current year, testing in and of itself in every category, pick one, was pretty much level across the board. But that new category that's in there, we were kind of penalized, and we took a hit in that area. I sent a memo out as soon as that was out to our community, kind of explaining what our expectation is and what the plan is. What it's really done for us, and you try to take a negative and turn it into a positive, is we went back to the drawing board and we've really assessed some of those areas, and we're really trying our best to be the district to a lot of people say they look at each individual kid. We really tried to make a concerted effort to look at each individual kid, where they're performing, where they need to go, where the deficiencies are. And I really believe this current testing cycle will be following the same rules as the previous year. So I think this coming year, you'll definitely, when we'll be able to compare from the previous year, we will be able to determine whether we've seen growth or not.
Right.
So K-Prep, Hank, it's important. That's how we're judged. But as you and I were talking, and I know you wanted me to mention a little bit about the ACT, K-Prep doesn't get you into college. The
ACT gets you into college.
The ACT is what I call, that's the money score. And you wanted me to elaborate on that a little bit. We've pretty much been the leader in the area as far as our composite score, ahead of any of the schools in the area. And, when you look at every single 11th grade student is assessed, and it's part of the state accountability with the ACT, and our composite score is right around 21 composite for the entire group, which puts us a couple points, ahead of surrounding schools, and not that we want to gauge ourselves to what everyone else is doing.
No, you want to gauge yourself against yourself.
But, we really try to maintain, that 21 is a good marker for us. Consistently we've been the top 20 in the state as far as our ACT score goes. And I can't tell you the number of kids that have been able to go to college, partially paid, full paid, just based on what they're getting as far as the ACT here. This past weekend, we brought in a group, Torch Prep, which has been doing some ACT prep for some of our kids. It's a real intense, full day, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Miss Chafin's doing some things internally with her kids school-wide as far as ACT practice and whatnot. So I feel really good going into, and we're about a month shy of being into the testing season. I feel really good about where we're at right now and what we've done leading up to this. And really, again, trying to turn a negative into a positive. And once you're up on the mountaintop, you don't have a lot of room for error. And that's a misconception of some, because if you are a consistently low achieving school district, you got a lot of room to improve. Right. But depending on where KDE sets these baselines, if you're at the top of the mountain, it's really hard to maintain that, because it's not apples to apples. You got kids that are consistently changing, and we want to be the best. That's our goal every year. But looking at it realistically, especially when you change the rules midstream, sometimes that doesn't work to your benefit. So we're working hard at it, and hopefully we'll continue to improve. And I feel really good going into this year's testing season.
We'll be back with more here in just a moment. We'll talk about the new board office that the Russell Independent Schools are going to have, and some about the legislation facing Kentucky. This is the OLBH Greenup Beacon Media Network. Brent Roark's insurance agency is a full-service agency associated with Nationwide Insurance, one of the largest insurance companies in the United States. Nationwide's financial strength remains strong. To reach Brent Roark at 721 Belfont Road in Flatwoods, phone 836-6666.
Nationwide is on your side.
Welcome to Belfont Animal Clinic. Dr. Amy Bess is a licensed veterinarian treating dogs, cats, and other small animals. Your pet's health and well-being are very important, and Dr. Bess and staff will take every step to give your pet the best possible care. Belfont Animal Clinic is a full-service animal clinic and will take routine wellness cases as well as medical, surgical, and dental issues. Dr. Amy Bess, Belfont Animal Clinic, 1500 Kenwood Drive, Russell. Call 606-836-9933.
Betty Gallion and the Greenup County EMS want you to know the qualified staff is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For transport, call 833-1515. And for medical emergencies, call 911. Greenup County EMS, when seconds count, accepting Medicaid, private insurance, and private pay. GreenupCounty.org.
EMS.
Absolutely.
And we're back with the one and only Sean Horn. And some people may be grateful that there's just one, Sean. But we ran a story in the Beacon, way ahead of everybody else in the world, about the new board office. I thought Allison Jones, who is a Russell grad and was our intern for the summer, did a really nice job on it. I did have to explain to her a little bit the intricacies of how the board and the super, but she, just like most people, do not understand the hierarchy. That the board is a budgetary election. Their only other job is to hire and fire a superintendent. It is not, they don't run the day to day. People think they do. Well, I'll call my board member. Well, call them. And they might be able to call you and influence you. But at the end of the day, their job is, and they've done a good job here for as long as we've been around.
Absolutely.
And I was around before you were around, so seems like a long time now. But Sean, talk about the doctor's office you bought and what the go forward plan is.
Yeah, one thing that a lot of people are kind of confused about is, our district level staff for for a very long time has really been spread out across the district. For example, we have 5 district level employees right now that's housed at Russell Primary School. We have 2 district level employees right now that's housed at Russell McDowell Intermediate School. And then, we have our office here, which just houses some of the folks here at the district level. So, we thought, space is a major issue, and if you get into looking at building a school, and, there's been a lot of things swirl around about possibly building a high school down the road and, renovating certain things and whatnot, and the expense to that is enormous.
No one has any idea.
And, for us to have a bare bones high school down the road right now, and that changes every year because expenses continue to go up, you're looking at about $35 to $40 million for us to be able to do that.
Right.
So for us to gain space, and that's one thing that I really want to stress to a lot of folks in the community that might not know, we will actually pick up 5 classrooms by moving the staff to a general location, which is important. We've really never had a board area, and what I mean by that is a place to have a meeting outside of the schools. So this will definitely provide that. We're going to have a great space to be able to have a meeting, and it's going to be top of the line as far as technology and things that we need. But also with that space, I look at that as a multi-purpose. When we do our transportation training, when we do professional development, when we do possibly council meetings, there's just going to be a multi-purpose facility as far as having a place to meet.
Right.
That's not in a library. So that's going to be really good. Plus, I'm going to be able to have all of our people under one roof. So, from an efficiency standpoint, from a monitoring standpoint, because there's so many times during the course of a work week that I might just need to have a 5-minute conversation with someone, yes or no, or look at this budget, or what do you think about this idea?
Yeah, you have to drive halfway across the district.
I'm mobile. I'm definitely mobile because right. If I go to the primary school, you would think that while I'm at the primary school, I'm talking to Mr. Cassidy or a principal, but our curriculum office is there, our special needs is there, our gifted and talented is there, our preschool is there. When you start thinking of those things, there's a lot of moving parts.
Right.
So just to be able to have folks in the same office is going to make a major difference as far as our productivity and us being efficient and whatnot. And then, just having a meeting place
right.
That's set up. You don't think how important that is, but it really and truly is for us to have a place that we can meet and get things done that's outside of the school and not disrupting things, For example, on a board meeting day, we do disrupt the high school library and trying to get things prepped and things set up, and that could potentially take away from kids, and that's not what
not the object.
That's not what we want to do. So
and you also sometimes have them there when there's a ball game going on, and it's confusing.
It is, and we've had board meetings going on, academic meets going on, and a ball game going on. at the same facility at the same night, and people coming in and out. It's just hard. We're going to be more streamlined and be much more efficient.
Work poor Miss Amos to death.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a great thing for us, and we really ended up with a really nice building. The building itself, the doctor's office that Dr. Yamale was there. We've been able to completely gut it from end to end, and that's a really good space in and of itself. And then we're able to do the boardroom off the back of it, which I think is going to be really great. Proximity to our schools is going to be ideal. Walking distance to Russell McDowell. Just a short drive over to the rest of our facilities. Parking is going to be plenty of parking. We've got a nice piece of property there that down the road. There on the front corner, we own all of that. I mean, if you wanted to put a smaller facility there on the front court, we own the property for that now. So it was just, I think the timing of it was right. The move of that is right. And downtown Russell's changing quite a bit with the new bridge being moved.
You have no parking problem downtown now.
Yeah, that's true. But,
I understand.
We're really looking forward to that move, and I think it's really going to benefit us moving forward.
That'll be great. And the day that Sean walks to McDowell, I'm going to drive out and take pictures of that. Just wanted to share that. We'll be back and talk about the legislation facing schools in a minute on the OLBH Greenup Beacon Media Network.
Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the opportunities it holds for growth, learning, and enjoyment, and for the time to share with others. I pray for peace and joy in mind, body, and spirit, and for the hope of this day. In your name, amen.
Funny thing about banks, you go in and apply for a loan here,
but they make their decisions somewhere out of state.
My money is here, my account is here. Why go 100 miles away to make a decision?
At First and People's Bank, the decision is made right here by people you know. Bank local. Bank with the friendly folks at First and People's Bank. The Home Office. Member Equal Housing Lender, FDIC. All drivers are not as careful as you are, and Kurt Robinson State Farm Insurance in Flatwoods reminds you to drive carefully at all times. For all your insurance needs, auto, home, life, and health, contact Kurt Robinson Insurance with over 28 years as a State Farm agent. Phone 836-3011. Auto quotes available 24/7 at 836-3011. Kurt Robinson Insurance, 1114 Belfont Road in Flatwoods.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I know. It's about time you earned that big check. We're back, so don't say anything. Sean, I don't even know where to start. But the first thing I want to talk about really does not have anything to do with secondary. Mm-hmm. But I know the bill just went up today to the governor that says that school funding at the university level is going to be based on accountability. And so they're going to throw all the rules out and come up with new accountability standards so nobody knows what they're going to get. Are you going to face that kind of thing?
Hank, it's really hard to even discuss accountability because just a few years ago we were talking about standards, and we've changed so many things as far as our state assessment goes. That's kind of it's almost, I guess the best way to say it is you just kind of take it from it's a year-to-year kind of deal. And, sometimes you feel as though, we're flying the plane and trying to build it too. I mean, and that's very frustrating for me. So for me to pinpoint particular areas, right now, right now, I kind of have a pretty good beat on, just looking at the assessment side of that. I have a pretty good beat on what this year's going to look like. But for me to give you information as far as what the accountability is going to be, as far as how it's going to be measured and how it's going to be set and what the baselines are, we're still kind of in a holding pattern on that. So it's really hard to plan when you're thinking about that because there are so many moving parts to it.
Well, as you know, because I know you read my column every week, I wrote a column a couple of weeks ago about charter schools.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they going to put one? Where are they going to fund the physical structure?
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are my questions. I might not even be against charter schools.
Mm-hmm.
I think I am,
Mm-hmm.
but I may not be. But my question is, and which is this throws fear into people. We're dealing with too much of the unknown now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had a lot of legislation passed that has revoked things we've done for years.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what we needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to even question the governor
Mm-hmm.
or the president.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is, how does that impact Gracie Horn?
Mm-hmm. I've been to Frankfurt twice, and I've talked to various legislators regarding this very topic.
Right.
And I am a public school superintendent at a very high performing independent school, and I believe that, and I can talk to you for days as far as the budgeting goes.
Right.
It's we consistently are trying to get more programs, more things for kids with less. I mean, there's been a tremendous amount of budget cuts across the board. And, the solution to that is not to tax and put more of a burden on our community. But that makes it very difficult for everyone. Charter schools, this area, I can't see it. I don't see it. I think there might be some value. If you think of a Fayette County or a Jefferson County, has a little bit different population than what we're dealing with, has the majority of your lower performing schools, doing things a little bit differently. If I was in one of those two counties, I might feel a little bit differently. I might want to look at some different alternatives for kids. For us in this area, I believe in what we do. I think we have a good product. I think if you just want to look at data and not pound your chest, I think I can make a good case on what we do for kids and what our kids do past Russell Independent. I cannot see this impact in Northeast Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, because you hit one of the main things that I would also have a question on when you start thinking about facilities and transportation and teachers and certifications and
well, I don't know that charter schools would be under the providing transportation mode, so it might require delivery.
Yeah, there's been some discussion back and forth. One of the big things that's being discussed right now is authorizers. And
yes, I've seen that.
And if your local board of education is an authorizer, obviously we're going to have a little skin in the game. Speaking
right.
from a board standpoint, which I believe is important. But as of this morning, I've heard of different municipalities and things like that might have some say, and that's something that's been changing. So I'm kind of curious to see how all that'll play out. Because if they do take that power away from local boards, that could be an issue. But again, I cannot see in our area this impacting us right now. So I think the good thing would be it looks like they're going to be here. It looks like there's going to be some form of charter legislation passed. So fortunately for us, I think that we'll have a little bit of time to kind of eyeball it. The problem that I will have is every school system's allocated X dollars every year.
Right.
And here's my main sticking point. If Russell Independent Schools is allocated to normal allocation, here's what you have for the year, you budget and you do what you need to do to have a successful year, I'm fine with that. But if we start farming out funds and they cut money off the top that could be coming to my kids, I've got a problem with that because what we
You're
have,
still going to be charged with the masses.
Yes, and that's one thing that I'm adamant against is I don't feel it's kind of like that if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
We have a good product. We're doing a lot more with less right now as we speak.
Right.
I don't want to see anything shaved off the top that's going to impact Russell Independent, Raceland Independent, Greenup County Schools, Ashland Independent. We've got a good product in our area, and I just think it'd be so unfair to our community has changed.
Right.
And I can go on for days about that. Our clientele has changed. Businesses in the area has changed. and to cut funds to fund a charter situation somewhere else in the state, if that has an impact on my district or any of our surrounding local districts, I think all the superintendents, all of my colleagues, and I think would feel the same, that we're definitely against.
No one wants to give up what's theirs, and I think that's practical. The other thing that I do want to mention on this before we close is you can have a profit or for-profit charter school, which can be funded with outside money. Plus they get the state money. Non-profits can only be funded by state money and donations. It's not the same thing, because at the end of the day, as long as their balance sheet says zero, they can function. A for-profit can lose money, and the reason I bring this up is Missouri had 9 big charter schools that closed. So then again, all these districts had adjusted to these. It was several thousand kids. They had to adjust and reabsorb them, and that is my concern, is to do damage to the classrooms and do damage to the students.
Another thing too that I think is important, especially with us being an independent school district. I think if you look at reciprocal agreements, true school choice. If you have the best product in town and you feel as though that you have something that you can offer kids, I don't see Russell. I cannot see a charter school being any better or more competitive in anything as compared to Russell Independent Schools. I can't see
I don't
that.
know what they could bring.
I think true school choice, I am for school choice.
Right.
I think if we had true school choice that allowed, the proof is in the pudding, parents can choose where they want to send their kids with no restriction of that and the money following the student, I would put our product up against anyone. So that component of it, I am an advocate, but from how it's going to be funded and what the framework is going to look like and what criteria and how they're going to be judged, it's another one of those things. You kind of get the feeling that you're flying a plane and building it too. So kind of hopefully we'll be able to kind of see what happens and keep our ear down and monitor that.
Let's go forward.
Hope for the best.
Well, we'll be back in about a month, and hopefully by then Sean will come up with a new phrase besides flying a plane and building it too. But Sean, we thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you for being on, and it's always good to have you. And we will be back on in a month or so before graduation. By that time, we'll have things more nailed down, and we can talk about the testing process a little bit more. But thank you, Sean, and we'll be back on again next Wednesday at 2 o'clock here on greenupbeacon.com. For Sean Horn, this is Hank Bond on the OLBH Greenup Beacon Media Network.